affirmations for the new year, and we're gonna be tapping on a few things. The first one is this little crystal ball that has an entire solar system in it. Maybe you can see I've gotten it from my sister for Christmas, and for me it's still before New Year's Eve, but I have done a lot of to-dos that I regularly do at the end of every year, and that includes some motivational stuff, some affirmations, and I wanted to share them with you today for the beginning of the new year, so that you have a little head start, a little motivation, and some positivity come your way. And before we're gonna start, I want you to take a few breaths with me to activate the parasympathetic nervous system. But forget about that. It's just so you can relax a little better, and so that your subconscious and you can generally make the affirmations stick more and believe them more. So just relax, wind down, maybe go to sleep if you wish, and take a big breath in and out. We're going to do 2 more like that, so breathe in and breathe out. Last one, breathe in and breathe out. So, now that you're ready, I am going to prepare the menu of things that we're gonna be tapping on today. And the first one is this candle that I've also gotten from a friend, and it has a symbolic meaning to me because I started using it in a very special time of my life, starting a new era, you may say, and afterwards things just kept improving. So symbolically, we'll take that and ready ourselves for everything that is to come right after we have been grateful for everything that already came our way. What is meant for you will find you. Everything that is for you will come your way. Anything that is not for you will leave, and that will be okay. Anything that happens has your best intentions in mind, even if you don't know it yet or can't see it yet. Everything that's happening is happening for you, everything will work out perfectly. Everything will work out no matter what. Everything will work out better than you expected, better than you imagined. Everything will be okay. Everything will work out just fine. Everything will work out, and there's nothing you can do to mess it up. It will all work out. The intention that you bring and you share will come back to you and will meet you again. All the energy, the good energy that you give out, you will receive back even greater. I can't stress enough that everything will work out, especially if you want it to. And for me, that really carries meaning because ever since I started to see things always working out for me, even when they're just like inconveniences or minor inconveniences, I still see the positivity in them. I still try to. It's not that I try, it's that it just occurs to me that it also has a bright side. That if I'm a bit later, then I get a parking spot, or that when the sticker on my vision board doesn't really want to stick, that it somehow still ends up working out because I find a better space for it. And it's not just the small things, it's also the big things. If you have really wanted something for a long time, and maybe you haven't been accepted to anything that you've applied for, maybe you just don't know yet that something better is on the way, because rejection is nothing more than redirection. And I think it's fascinating that sometimes you won't know it after years of it happening. Like, sometimes I think years back and I'm like, whoa, that happened and now I'm here. And it's specifically because of that situation that I have acquired skills or knowledge or did something that had consequences right to this day. And back then I wasn't happy about it, but now I sure am. And that just taught me that every ending is a new beginning, and that every beginning can be good if you want it to be, and that anything can be good if you want it to be. So, I hope that now you see that truly, even if things don't seem that way, they will come out good. They will come out better than you expected. starts to see things that way and start to believe things like that, and start to believe that things are always in your favor, that the odds are always in your favor, and even if they're not, then that it's still something beneficial for you. Next up, I got the little packaging from the crystal ball that I've gotten, and I always love some tapping sounds, so I wanted to connect them to something that means a lot to me. And this present symbolizes not only the entire universe or our part of it literally, but it also symbolizes other people in your life, because you're never alone. Even if you might feel that way, even if it might seem that way, even if you might feel lonely, other people will always be there for you. There will always be somebody who supports you, who cheers you on, who's rooting for you, and who is sharing their energy with you, their resources, their strength. And when it's that time of the year and you maybe see each other on Christmas, they even might give you a gift that doesn't just show that they love you, but that they know you and appreciate you, that they've thought about you. And personally, I feel like to be loved is to be known for who you truly are. So I want you to know that other people around you appreciate you and respect you, that they're supporting you, and that if you truly need them, they will be there, and there will always be somebody there, even if it's a person you might have met on the internet, or if it's simply a video cheering you up, then that also has your best interest in mind, and specifically friends that you've maybe just made or have known for a very long time, even though you might not see them every day or talk to them every day. They still appreciate you. And if it comes down to that, they offer a helping hand or a shoulder to cry on. Because truly, even if it might seem that way, we're never truly alone. And even if it's just a fly on the wall that's watching you, you're never really alone. So remember, believe in yourself. Because if other people can believe in you, then so can you. Believe that you can do things that you thought you couldn't do. Believe that you can try out new things without being embarrassed basically meant to shed your skin like a snake does, to free yourself of bad habits and to release what is no longer supporting you. If you like to believe in that, of course. And 2026 is the year of the horse, and as far as I know, it represents action, fire, passion, and alignment, and doing what you want to do, or keep doing what you already started doing. So if you felt sluggish this past year, if it was draining or exhausting, then remember, everything is always changing, and nobody really can do anything about it. Even if it might seem that we are in the same place, you have to keep in mind that the universe is constantly moving. Our solar system is, and we are rotating, and then we're rotating around the sun. Then the universe is expanding, so we're rotating even more. And that just means that even if you're in the same room that you've been in the past year or the past years, then that room is never truly where it originally was. It might be in relation to the other things in your reality, but truly everything changes, and so might the energies that you feel or your mood. So just know that this next year, 2026, is all about just doing it. And as silly as that sounds, I think that there will also be a lot of support for you to do the things that you want to do, that you've set your mind to do. And if you ever need some support, there will always be somebody you can reach out to. And they will believe in you. Because if you don't believe yourself or believe in yourself, there will always be somebody who does. And sometimes if you can't believe in yourself, you can just try to borrow their belief. You know, because if they believe in you and you can't do it yourself, you just imagine that you borrow their belief and you do it anyway. Because you won't know unless you try. So, with that, you have all the energy now, and best wishes and kindest regards from me to do whatever you wanted to pursue, whatever you wanted to do, and what you didn't get to, or have barely started, somehow started, or maybe want to pick up again. As silly as it is, you can do anything you put your mind to. And if you dedicate yourself, then you'll be standing in the Hall of Fame. If you know that reference, then let me know in the comments. But always remember, where your attention goes, energy flows. And even if that sounds spiritual, it really isn't. Because if you're focusing on your job and you're doing the extra work day in and day out, or your studies, or sports, or friendships, relationships, then that will pay off. And in the day-to-day, it might not seem that way. But after some time, there will be results. So, remember that it's not about doing it every day. It's about doing it as best as you can, how it fits for you. And that if you've built a foundation, then that won't fall or break down that easily. And that foundation is not built over 1 or 2 days. Truly, you can do very few things or can achieve very few things in just 1 day or 1 moment. But when you add up all those moments that you've focused your attention on, then that will sooner or later pay out. So remember, it's not about whether you do it today or tomorrow or haven't done it. It's just about experimenting, trying out whether you can do it again and again, until someday you might even have results that you didn't expect. And then truly things might turn out better for you than you could have ever imagined. And so even if your plan is chaotic, you truly will follow the plan that is meant for you, I feel like. And that will always be the best path, no matter what, even if it might not look like that way. Somehow, from another perspective, future, you might say, yep, that was shitty, but it taught me something, and that might be valuable. Remember, you can do anything that you put your mind to. You can feel competent. You can try out new things. You can always readjust. Try again. Try something else. And rinse and repeat. And sooner or later, you'll feel competent or confident. Next up, I have a little book that I've already used in my last video. And just because I said that we might see her again. Because look, I thought that it would be fitting to keep the promises that you make, especially if nobody's watching. Because you're capable of keeping the promises that you make to yourself. And if you don't believe it, well, start small. Because for me, also started small. And once I saw that I can achieve little things like go out on a run or get my driver's license or do whatever. It could be just getting up today, brushing your teeth, cleaning your room, making a meal. Once you see that you are keeping your word to yourself, then you really start to feel good about yourself. Start trusting yourself and start keeping the words you make to yourself. So even if you might believe that, oh, I don't know if I can do it, you have so much proof that you've done it again and again and again. And even if you don't know how the way is going to look like, it will unfold once you start walking on it. You don't run a marathon in a whole sprint. You run it step by step, from second to second, from moment to moment. So remember, trusting yourself is easy. Trusting yourself always feels good. Trusting yourself always feels good. Keeping the promises you made to yourself will uplift you. And it will strengthen the relationship you have with yourself. It will help to respect yourself. And if you can respect yourself, then others will too. That just naturally follows. And if you don't believe me, I am currently writing my bachelor thesis about that topic, sort of. Because you always teach other people how to treat you, not by telling them, but by showing them. And that also applies to yourself, but if you see, or if other people see, that you respect yourself and trust yourself, then they will follow. And especially when you are your best friend and have your back, your own back, then other people will have a difficult time if they try to do you wrong. But remember that they always tell, have your best interest in mind, even if it might not seem that way. Think about it. You also have your best interest in mind, but nobody's perfect, and nobody can keep all the promises they make to themselves. But that's also not what it's about. So now that you don't have to do anything perfectly, you can do things just good enough. And it's funny because in life there's no standard that matters except the standard you have for yourself. And although it is influenced by your upbringing in your environment, and although it is influenced by your upbringing in your environment, you can always choose it yourself. You can always say, you know what? I'm going to change course. I'm going to not care anymore. I will simply choose another thing and get some peace of mind with that. Or you might even raise your standard when you achieved something and say, you know what? I do want to be a little better. I do want to finish or get a degree. I do want to get a salary increase, a pay raise, whatever it is that you set for yourself. It can be yours. And it doesn't have to do anything with anybody else if you don't want it to. And I think that's truly amazing. That you can really design your whole life how you want it to. And although there are some societal expectations, and although we have to sustain ourselves because we work, we live in a society, we can always do whatever we want. We're free to change how we think, change how we act. We can relieve the pressures and the stress that we feel. Or we can use it as motivation. In a healthy way, of course. Not by making yourself suffer more, but by increasing how much you want to achieve, whatever it is you want to achieve. Because you can. And it's easy for you to do the things that you want to do. It feels good to do what you want to do. And by this point, I have completely lost track of what I already talked about, of course. But for the next trigger, we will tap on my Polaroid camera that, for me, symbolically means to relish and bathe in every moment that we get, to be grateful for anything that we can experience, and make a memory of that moment. Because we're so caught up in always thinking, literally, and stressing about the next thing that's coming, that we're not taking the time to properly enjoy ourselves or the moment. And what I like to do to really memorize a moment is wherever I am, especially when I'm partying or sat down and I just looked around. Noticed all the things that I didn't notice before. Some plants that I didn't really pick up on. Some signs I didn't see before. And then I chose one plant. I think it was kind of dry already, but that doesn't matter. I really looked at it and kept looking at it for a few minutes. And the more I looked at it, the more I realized that I'm in the moment, that I'm truly here. And the better I could memorize that moment. And now, when I think back at that, when I think back of how I looked at that plant, although it was a silly moment, I still feel like I'm there, that I can re-experience the moment because I wasn't thinking about 20 things at once. I was just present. And that presence I still carry with me, at least for that moment. It made me memorize that moment. Or just like with two very good friends, I was partying. Arguably the best party that I've ever attended. And there was like a disco ball. And I just moved my body and probably looked a little weird because I just kept staring at that disco ball. But the way the lights were hitting it was mesmerizing. I just kept looking at it and realizing how grateful I am to be where I am, especially in that moment with who I was there and how everything turned out. Or another time, I was at a festival, and it was toward the end of the festival, and a lot of memories have been made, but I just remember sitting down on like one very low camping chair, right where the stage area was, and I looked around at my friend next to me, at some tables in front of us that had empty beer bottles on it. The stages that you could hear but not really see to the right. And then, of course, the fences that were all around the area. And a trash can somewhere to the right, probably a lot of trash everywhere. And a few food stands to the left. And once I looked around, I really started to realize that all the things around me exist and I memorized them. So that when I look back to that moment, I truly see that moment. I can look at the beer bottles again, or at my friend, how she was just relaxing and having her eyes closed and chilling. And I still feel like that moment could go on forever because I took the time to experience it. And this camera that I have, that I'm tapping on, to me, it means to be grateful for all the experiences we're able to experience, how best we are, and how amazing some moments can be. And the best part, that the best moments are maybe yet to come, that you haven't even experienced your best moment yet, that it could happen anytime. Technically, something great might be around the corner and you wouldn't know. You might still be caught up in the day-to-day with worries that might not matter, with situations that will solve themselves if you just give them time, with problems that you can't solve because, as Einstein said, the mind cannot solve a problem that it has created, and basically you need another brain or another mind, another perspective to solve the problem that mind couldn't solve. Meaning, that so many things are not as important as we think they are, especially in the grand scheme of things, and that great things might surprise you, but they can't do that if you're not looking for them, if you're not believing that they can happen, because it's scientifically proven that you can only realize or experience what you also pay attention to. And you can't pay attention to something if you don't believe it exists. So, believe that good things can happen. Believe that good things might just be around the corner. Believe that gratitude is actually helpful, and that being grateful for even the smallest things, like stickers, can lead to way bigger things. Being grateful strengthens your ability to be optimistic and see opportunities and positives and advantages of every situation. And I have one last trigger for today. That is this case that actually did not come with the camera. It came with some headphones that are now broken, sadly. But I really like how it sounds. And even though it really isn't that big a video, that just goes to show how everything has an advantage, everything has a disadvantage, and what truly matters is just what you focus on. Because a lot of situations, some are good, some are bad. Most have good things to them, most have bad things to them. There's a lot going on in the world, sadly, but also a lot of good things. And that even if you get a case for headphones that you didn't use for these headphones, then that case might still stay with you. And I also see that in situations where I had a friend or was very close with somebody, and I realized they taught me one thing, or they introduced me to a word that I've been saying ever since, or just made memories that stuck to me and that shaped how I act. And ultimately, we are ourselves, of course, but we are made up of so many pieces and knowledge and information. By the way, I just noticed that one microphone wasn't on, the tapping microphone, and I just hope that that wasn't for the whole video. That would be very sad, but it is what it is. There's always a lesson in there somewhere, I'm sure. And if the audio changed, that's because there are now some background noises, sadly. However, I was talking about how we are always made up of other situations, other people, other ideas, other habits of other people that, of course, we make our own decisions. We have our own ideas, our own quirks, but there are a lot of influences and a lot of inspiration taken from other people. And that just goes to show that even if something is not in your life anymore, that doesn't mean it never was. And that doesn't mean it still can't have an influence on you. And it can still influence you in a good way, especially if it's fun memories. Recently, I've been on a birthday from a friend, and I noticed they still say not a word. It's shmeh. That is shaking my head. SMH, if you will. And I saw a video once years ago where somebody said that anytime they see shaking my head shortened like that, they read as shma, and that it has become the ultimate sound of bruh, basically. I did not think I'd be getting into this today. That friend still, I feel like, religiously uses that sound, and it was because I showed them that video. And I was like, wow, we haven't seen each other for such a long time, but I still left an impact on you. And just haven't realized it, or if you don't want to be reminded of something from your past, then you maybe forgot the good parts about it. And by realizing that nothing really is at face value bad or good, although arguably a few things are. Crimes, for example, hurting somebody else, but we're not getting into that territory. Most situations that happen in everyday life are neither good nor bad. They are simply what you make out of them. And it's your ability to notice things or to see a situation in a way that benefits you, that can help you to feel better, to achieve your goals, or to feel at ease. And that realization to me has brought so much peace, that things are just happening. Sure, they might be seen as good, they might be seen as bad, but ultimately, it doesn't matter that much. The only thing that matters is how you see it, how you want to see it, and more importantly, what you're gonna do about it. So with that, I hope that you can get into the new year and be motivated to achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve. Maybe meet up with a few friends that you haven't seen in a while. Get some inspiration here and there. Practice gratitude for the things that have happened or are yet to come and you don't know about them. Or just remember that in the grand scheme of things, we are very, very tiny and nothing matters that much. So remember, everything will work out. It has to. And that's cheesy, but if it hasn't worked out well, then it's not really the end. And there's probably a lesson in there somewhere. And the background noises at this point are getting insane. So I'll say thank you for watching. I'd appreciate if you could like, comment, or subscribe. Let me know what you want to see or hear next.